You've been told to eat your vegetables, but not all veggies are helping you. In fact, 3 of them are silently inflaming your joints, weakening your knees, and leaving you tired no matter how well you sleep. It's not about eating less, it's about eating right. If you care about long-term strength, clarity, and movement, stay until the end. The final food I'll show you has changed everything for those who live pain-free. We begin today with a simple observation. The body speaks a language that is much older than words. It communicates through sensations, the feeling of warmth, of strength, of lightness, and also of discomfort. This discomfort, this pain in our joints, this lack of energy that so many of us feel in the modern world is not an enemy to be defeated. It is not a flaw to be cursed. It is simply a message. It is the body's way of telling us that something in our environment, in our actions, in our inner world is out of harmony. The first step on any path to mastery, whether it is in the movements of Gong Fu or in the art of living, is to learn to listen, to quiet the noise of the outside world, the endless opinions and quick fixes, and to turn our attention inwards, to the subtle signals our own structure is sending us. So often we look for complex solutions to our problems. We seek out a new technology, a new supplement, a new extreme routine, believing that the answer must be as complicated as the problem feels. Yet wisdom often lies in simplicity. It lies in looking at the most fundamental inputs we give our body every single day. And the most constant, most intimate input we provide is the food we choose to consume. Food is not merely fuel. It is not just a collection of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Food is information. Each meal sends a cascade of instructions to our cells, to our gut, to our entire system. It can be information that promotes calmness, clarity, and repair. Or it can be information that promotes agitation, confusion, and a state of low-level chronic defense. The great challenge we face is that many of the things we have been told are healthy can, for certain constitutions, be a source of this hidden stress. We eat a colorful salad filled with vibrant vegetables, believing we are doing the very best for ourselves. And yet, the feeling of stiffness persists. The energy does not return. This is because we are operating on a general rule, not on a personal understanding. We are following a map for a territory that is not our own. The path to well-being is not about following a universal doctrine. It is about becoming the scientist of your own experience. It requires you to become the primary investigator of your own inner landscape. Think of your body as a temple, a sacred space. If you are to maintain this temple, you must be mindful of what you allow to cross its threshold. Some offerings are pure and contribute to the sanctity and strength of the structure. Other offerings, while they may appear beautiful on the outside, can slowly, imperceptibly begin to erode the foundations. They create a subtle internal dust, a residue that builds up over time. This is the nature of chronic inflammation. It is not a sudden fire, but a slow, smoldering ember, continuously fed by small, seemingly insignificant choices. Our task is to identify these hidden embers and to gently, patiently remove their fuel source. This process begins not with drastic action, but with gentle awareness. Before you change anything, simply observe. How do you feel 1 hour after you eat? How do you feel the morning after a certain meal? Is there a sense of lightness in your joints or a familiar, dull ache? Is your mind clear or is it foggy and slow? Do not judge what you find, simply notice. This practice of noticing is the foundation of all self-regulation. It is the beginning of reclaiming your own power, of moving from a passive recipient of external advice to an active participant in your own vitality. The answers are not in a book or on a screen. They are waiting to be discovered within the quiet feedback loop of your own physical form. We live in an age of excess information, but a poverty of wisdom. We know the names of 1,000 different diets, but we do not know the language of our own bodies. The goal is to bridge this gap, to transform that external knowledge into internal wisdom. This transformation does not happen overnight. It is a practice, a daily commitment to listening and responding. The energy you seek, the freedom in your movement you desire, is not something you need to add. it is something you must uncover. It is already there, waiting beneath the layers of accumulated stress and internal noise. Our journey today is to identify one of the most common and most overlooked sources of this noise: nightshade family. Now we turn our attention to a specific family of plants. In nature, everything seeks to protect itself. Plants are no different. Over millennia, they have developed sophisticated chemical defenses to deter pests, insects, and animals from consuming them. These compounds are a part of the plant's own immune system, its own method of survival. This family of plants, known to botanists as Solanaceae, or more commonly as the nightshades, is particularly adept at this. This family includes some of our most common foods: tomatoes, all varieties of peppers, bell peppers, chili peppers, eggplants, and even white potatoes. They are staples in cuisines all over the world. They bring color, flavor, and are sources of certain vitamins. And for many people, they can be enjoyed without any noticeable issue. However, for a significant portion of the population, and especially for those who are already experiencing signs of internal imbalance like joint pain, digestive issues, or skin problems, these plants can be problematic. The defensive compounds they contain, such as alkaloids like solanine and capsaicin, or glycoproteins called lectins, can act as subtle irritants to the human system. Imagine a very fine grain of sand inside a precise mechanical watch. For a while, the watch may continue to function. But over time, that tiny persistent irritant begins to wear down the delicate gears. It creates friction. It disrupts the smooth, harmonious operation of the machine. This is a useful way to think about how these compounds can affect a sensitive body. They can interfere with the integrity of the gut lining, the great barrier that separates our internal world from the outside. When this barrier is compromised, it can lead to a state known as increased intestinal permeability. This allows particles that should not enter the bloodstream to pass through, triggering a response from our immune system. The immune system, in its wisdom, sees these as foreign invaders and mounts a defense. This defense is what we call inflammation. When we consume these irritating foods day after day, we are essentially asking our immune system to remain in a constant state of high alert. This constant low-grade battle drains our energy and can manifest as pain and stiffness, particularly in the joints, which are often susceptible to inflammatory processes. The invitation here is not to declare these vegetables as evil or to fear them. Fear is never a useful state. The invitation is one of personal experiment and honest observation. The only way to know if this hidden stressor is affecting your temple is to temporarily remove it and see what happens. This is the practice of elimination. For a period of time, perhaps 3 or 4 weeks, to give the body a true chance to reset, you consciously choose to remove all tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, and potatoes from your diet. You pay close attention. You keep a journal, not just of what you eat, but of how you feel. How are your energy levels upon waking? What is the quality of your sleep? How do your joints feel when you climb a flight of stairs or make a fist? You become the researcher. The data you are collecting is your own subjective experience. This is the most valuable data there is. At the end of this period of observation, you can then choose to reintroduce one of these foods in a clean and simple form. Eat a plain cooked tomato, for example, and then for the next 2 to 3 days, you do nothing else. You simply watch, you listen. Does the old stiffness return? Does a sense of mental fog reappear? Does your digestion feel disturbed? The body will speak to you very clearly if you are willing to listen to its quiet language. For some, you may find there is no reaction, and you can continue to enjoy these foods in moderation. For many others, the connection will be undeniable. You will feel the return of the sand in the gears. And with this realization comes a profound sense of empowerment. You are no longer a victim of a mysterious pain. You have identified a source of the disturbance. You have discovered a key to regulating your own well-being. This knowledge is more powerful than any pill or prescription because it is your knowledge, earned through your own diligent practice and self-awareness. It is a step away from confusion and a step towards clarity. It is a fundamental part of mastering your own internal environment so that you can engage with the external world from a place of stability and strength. Nourishing roots. Once we have created space by removing potential irritants, We must then consciously choose to fill that space with offerings that are deeply nourishing, calming, and strengthening to our foundation. If the nightshades can be seen as creating a subtle, agitating fire in the system, then the foods we choose now should have a cooling, grounding, and restorative quality. We are not just avoiding harm, we are actively promoting healing and the cultivation of stable, resilient energy. The focus shifts from what to avoid to what to embrace. This is a much more joyful and sustainable way to live. We are not restricting ourselves, we are choosing to provide our body with the highest quality information for repair and vitality. Let us first consider the sweet potato. Notice its nature. It grows deep within the earth. It is a root. It is dense, and when cooked, it has a gentle, comforting sweetness. Foods that grow underground, the root vegetables, have a grounding energy. In a world that constantly pulls our attention upwards and outwards with endless distractions, these foods help to bring our energy back down to connect us to a place of stability. The sweet potato is a wonderful source of complex carbohydrates, which means it provides a slow, sustained release of energy. It does not spike your blood sugar and lead to a crash. It is like a log on a fire that burns steadily for hours, providing constant warmth, rather than a piece of paper that flares up brightly and then is gone in an instant. This stable energy is the foundation for a calm, clear mind and a body that feels capable and ready. Next, we can welcome the warming and cleansing spices, particularly ginger and turmeric. While we spoke of an agitating fire before, these spices represent a different kind of warmth. It is a purposeful, cleansing heat. Think of the difference between a forest fire that rages out of control and the focused, controlled flame of a blacksmith's forge used to shape and purify metal. Ginger and turmeric act like this cleansing fire within the body. They are powerfully anti-inflammatory. They help to soothe the very pathways that the nightshades may have irritated. They support healthy digestion, warming the digestive fire so that we can more efficiently extract nutrients from our food. A small amount of freshly grated ginger in hot water or some turmeric cooked into your food can be a powerful daily practice for calming the system and clearing out the dust we spoke of earlier. We also embrace the world of dark, leafy greens, but with one important modification: they are best consumed cooked. Vegetables like kale, chard, spinach, and bok choy are nutritional powerhouses filled with minerals and vitamins. However, in their raw state, they can be quite fibrous and difficult for some digestive systems to break down. This can be another subtle stressor. By gently steaming or sautéing these greens, we are essentially pre-digesting them. The heat breaks down the tough cellular walls, making the vast array of nutrients within them far more accessible to our bodies. This is an act of kindness to your digestive system. You are making its job easier, allowing it to do its work of absorption and distribution without having to expend excessive energy simply breaking the food down. The common thread among all these foods, the sweet potatoes, the cleansing spices, the cooked greens, is that they are simple, gentle, and easy for the body to recognize and use. They are foods that build us up rather than forcing us to mount a defense. When your diet is composed primarily of these kinds of nourishing inputs, the body can finally shift its resources away from constant crisis management and toward deep, long-term repair and energy production. The temple is no longer being eroded, it is being fortified. The internal noise subsides, and in its place, a quiet strength begins to grow. This is not a diet. It is a practice of creating an internal environment of peace so that your true energy, your chi, can flow unobstructed. The goal is not to live on these few foods alone, of course. The world is full of wonderful, nourishing options. Squashes, carrots, beets, healthy fats from avocados and olives, clean proteins. The principle remains the same. Choose foods that are simple, whole, and calming to your individual system. The more you practice this, the more sensitive you will become to the effects of food. Your body will begin to crave that which nourishes it and lose its taste for that which disturbs it. This is not a process of forceful willpower, but a natural evolution of your own palate and your own internal wisdom. You are aligning your choices with your body's deepest needs, and the result is a profound and lasting sense of vitality and ease. This journey in the end is not about vegetables. It is not about a list of good foods and bad foods. It is about the relationship you cultivate with yourself. The food is simply a tool, a language through which you can learn to communicate with your own body. The true nourishment comes from the attention you pay, the compassion you show to your own struggles, and the patience you practice as you learn. By transforming your relationship with food, you transform the relationship with your own physical form from one of conflict to one of cooperation. This is the foundation of self-mastery. It is the quiet, daily practice of choosing harmony over discord, and from that harmony, all strength, clarity, and energy is born. This message came to me at the exact right time. I've been fighting my body for years, thinking I needed to push harder and be stricter. This is the first time I've considered that the pain is not an enemy, but a teacher. The idea of becoming a scientist of my own experience has completely shifted my perspective from one of battle to one of listening. Thank you for this wisdom. The journey of awareness begins now, not with force, but with quiet observation.